podcast of Off the Cuff Nurses. I am Dr. Minter. I'm a nurse practitioner in corrections.
And I'm Nurse Brian.
And we are going to talk about all things corrections and what's not correct, right? Okay. So today we're going to talk about what do you eat in jail. So it's a little bit different, right?
Yes.
I mean, we eat in jail, but we have a chow line, which is a little bit different, I think. I have worked in prison, though, where you got a free lunch, which is kind of in quotes, but we ate what the inmates ate. And sometimes it was okay, and sometimes it was a little shaky. But I usually would have a backup lunch. So
Yeah, a lot of people do.
just in case. Anyway, there's a couple different things about jails and prisons that are unique to them. One of the things is that there's commissary. So commissary, for the people that don't know, is you can buy, I think they actually come in, like you can get like a surprise pack, or you just pick a pack and then all the stuff, or you check off what you want, but none of it is particularly healthy. It's like, what is it? Beef jerky, chips,
maybe cookies,
honey buns.
honey buns.
Honey buns are a problem.
They're a big problem. Start a lot of fights over honey buns.
Yeah. High carb count, high sugar count, pretty much. Kind of like what's in a vending machine. What else is in commissary?
Oh, man.
Ramen noodles.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Ramen noodles. They can do a lot with ramen.
Yeah, ramen noodles is a big thing. I remember I was in, when I was in prison. So I went over to the warehouse as a side story because there was something I wanted, like some piece of equipment, or I don't even remember what it was. And it was in prison, jail, some of the jails you just walk in. At least I've found. Some of the jails you have to go through a scanner like the airport. This prison, you had to go through a scanner, and then you had to put all your stuff through. And everything had to be in clear bags.
Yes.
Right? And it had to fit in a clear bag. If it didn't fit, you had to get permission from the warden, blah, blah, blah.
I think most places are like that. Most. Not all, but most.
Yeah, and I think it varies. This prison was particular, which I don't know why, because they had like the worst drug problem around. But anyway, so be it. So I needed this thing, let's call it a typewriter. I don't know what it was. And it was big. So they were like, no, we can't order this. We can't do that. So I shipped it. I ordered it from Amazon, and I shipped it to the prison. And it came to the warehouse. And so I go over it. Well, later on, by the way, they're like, don't ship things from Amazon warehouse. I was like, well, you wouldn't let me bring it in, you know. And of course they opened it. But so anyway, then they're like, okay, it's not contraband, so she can have it, but don't do that again. So anyway, I go to the warehouse. And unbeknownst to me was the commissary. And no lie, the ramen noodles were on a pallet at least 10 feet high.
Oh, yeah.
Of ramen noodles.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about building a wall between us and Mexico. Why don't we just build it with ramen noodles? Yeah, I mean, it was huge. So I was like, and they were all like one flavor. And then there was another pallet about 10 feet up with another flavor. I mean, you couldn't even see around the ramen noodles.
Oh, my goodness.
That's how many ramen noodles. That prison was about, that ADC, or their average daily census, was probably 1,500. So that's a lot of noodles. But they certainly keep the ramen noodle companies in business.
Oh, yeah.
So today I thought, let's make a little bit of correctional food. So we're going to make, I was going to do like they do on Good Morning America and just do it here, but that's kind of messy. So, and it was messy. So I made up what's called Nutriloaf. You've heard of it?
I have not.
Okay. So Nutriloaf is also known as prison loaf. It's also known, or was known, as disciplinary loaf.
Oh, joy.
And so I did some half-baked research. See, that's a pun. So, and looked up, like, what's in it. Basically, nothing good is in it.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing fun. So The southern, it's actually outlawed in some states at this point. Because the point is if somebody is like throwing the first thing that happens, and correct me if I'm wrong, so you get a tray, you're in jail, you get a tray. Now the trays that we have, I ordered them, but I like them because they were reproduction of what Alcatraz. Yeah. So the National Park Service, which now runs Alcatraz, from what I can tell, they sell these trays that say Alcatraz prison on them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's fine if they make a buck or two. These do not say Alcatraz. Mm-hmm. But in the old days, this is what they ate off of, was these metal trays. We don't have those metal trays anymore. Why don't we have those metal trays anymore?
Some is weapons.
Yeah, because weapons, right. So you don't want anything metal in jail or prison. So we have, or not only current jail, but I think I don't even remember, in prison when I was working in there, we have these big clunky plastic trays. They're about, 3 inches deep and probably 2 feet across.
I'd say so. Mm-hmm.
And then they just kind of slap the whatever it is in there, food. But they're less, I don't know, injury prone.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
Than these metal Alcatraz trays. But I didn't, then I'd have to do something with them later. So anyway, we've got metal trays. So here's your metal tray.
Yay.
Okay, so you're in jail. So here's mine. Whoops, there's a Nutriloaf. So anyway, so Nutriloaf, or disciplinary loaf, evolved, and basically what it is whatever they have in the kitchen, left over and baked, supposedly nutritionally intact. But for a while, like I think that guy out in Arizona, the Joe Arpeggio, the guy who put everybody in pink and had like the tents.
Yeah.
I think he was big on Nutriloaf.
Okay.
I don't remember. I mean, this is just what I'm saying.
It kind of makes sense with his pink.
Yeah, I think he's in jail now.
Is he really?
I think so.
Oh no.
I don't know. I don't know if Anthony knows, but
our viewers will have to look that up later.
Yeah, I know they'll let it.
It's interesting.
They'll let us know when we go back into work. So anyway, so you have the tray, and then they give you a regular meal, and the regular meal is very high in carbohydrates because it's cheap and it's filling and it works. I mean, we don't have steak too much, and I don't think there's much dessert.
I don't even think they get dessert.
Yeah.
I think maybe on like Thanksgiving and like Christmas, like special holidays, or Easter, but not regular. I've never seen it if they do.
I've seen it in prison, like they'll get a hunk of cake or something, some big sheet cake or whatever. But it's basic, you get what you get.
Right.
Okay. So if you don't behave, then we take away the tray, right? Because you're going to take that tray. The first thing, if you're mad, what are you going to do with it? Throw it, right? So you throw it, then it makes a big mess on the door because you're probably already in a single cell by yourself or not, either in the housing pod or single cell. You throw it and it goes everywhere, right?
Yeah. It's like, messy.
Yeah. So then they take that away and then they give you finger foods, right? So like maybe chicken nuggets or, I don't know, a sandwich. I don't know what else is in finger foods.
Me either. I never paid attention too much. I don't know if they have, like, fries or not, or what, like, just finger type stuff.
Yeah, we might have to pay attention to that.
Yeah, I don't pay attention much to the finger food diet.
Well, and then the other thing is they take away the utensils.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, especially if, like, you're a suicide risk
Correct.
or you're throwing stuff.
Yes.
So here today we have a fork and a knife. And that does not generally exist in corrections.
Oh, no.
Right?
No.
So what do they get?
They get, like, a spork.
Yeah, what is a spork?
It's like it's almost like the kind you get from like KFC when you're eating your mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It's like a spoon with a tiny little bit of a fork on the end, but not really.
Yeah, so it's a combo. If a fork and a spoon had a baby,
it would be the spork.
It would be a spork, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a spoon with like jagged edges on the end. And that's for people that are technically not at risk or on suicide watch.
Right, they're allowed to have those.
But they do eat them.
They can.
Yeah, and that causes problems. Like this guy could have ingested a spork. I've seen things on the news like that. So sporks can be a problem. They don't eliminate everything, but for simplicity and because also I didn't have time to go out and look for sporks, we have a knife and a fork. So that is not typical. So back to the disciplinary loaf. So if you can't do or if they don't have finger foods, then some jails or prisons can give you Nutriloaf, depending on the state. Because it used to be whatever. You can do whatever you want. Nutriloaf, from what I put into it, was fairly, nutritionally balanced from what I could tell.
Okay.
So what's in it? It's in, I don't know if I should tell you before we eat it.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I should try some first, and then you can tell me what poisonous material. I don't know.
All right, let's just try it.
Okay,
let's just try it. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, so it's like a meatloaf. And then I brought cornbread.
Uh-huh.
This is Publix cornbread.
Okay.
Which is probably better than, but I mean, at least in this state in Florida, cornbread is almost on every single tray.
Mm-hmm. Correct. I've seen that.
Yeah, this is particularly good cornbread, but I mean, it's almost, if not every meal, close to it. All right. I don't want a very big piece of
I
this.
don't either.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, God.
It's like sludge. Sludge.
Wait a minute. We got to make the dessert. Jesus
Oh,
God.
the dessert. But wait, there's more.
Oh, wait, there's more. Okay, so the Nutriloaf is not, people don't make this on Commissary. This is coming from the kitchen, and so is the cornbread. But back to the Commissary is that prisoners or inmates get creative. So there's different types of cakes that you can make, and you can't bake them, and you can't use a microwave because they don't have the ability to do that. So one of the things that they make is, it's called prison cake. Take a couple of those Oreos and just chop them up there.
Like in small pieces?
Yeah, you can either do that or you can take the cream out. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking cream out. I don't want too many
I'm just going
Oreos.
to crack it up.
Yeah, so one of the things is you can separate the cream, and then you can mix up the cream with like a little
to make it like
creamer.
icing?
Yeah, I don't want to do all that. So
yeah, I'm not doing that.
There's that.
But they've got time to do that. They got like all the time in the world.
Right.
To make icing and stuff.
Okay. So, but we do have to soften it up a little bit. So because they don't have milk, I would use milk. I'm a big milk drinker. All right, so just dump some of that cream in there. Whoops.
Here.
Sorry, you're going to have a big mess to clean up after us. I should have warned you.
What is happening?
What? What?
Welcome to our cooking show.
Yeah. All right, so add a little, we're going to make a drink after that. Just add a little water into there.
Oh, we have a Fiji, the nice kind.
Yeah, I know. They wouldn't.
Ooh.
I know. I should have running late today. Great. Yeah, all right. All right. So make that like into. All right. We are making a huge mess here.
It's all right.
Can't take me anywhere.
That's usually me with
All right.
wings.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Uh-huh. It's embarrassing.
Okay. So pour some of that. We're going to use some of that for a drink.
Okay.
But just
So pour some
little,
on top?
A little bit on the Oreos.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you got to wait for that to soften up a little bit. To your liking. Then this is called a whip. So you got to add, it didn't really say how much. I asked, remember C.O. Quinn who was here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I asked her what kind of jail food that she's heard of, and it's called a whip. So it's creamer, water, and instant coffee.
Okay.
That looks pretty terrible. All right.
Well, most things they eat don't look very appetizing, but what's this?
That's the top for that. Okay. And then what they do is they get from commissaries, they get the M&Ms.
Uh-huh. Oh, this is not even the top for this. Okay.
All right. All right, here's the top for that.
All right.
Of course, the M&Ms they'll get are not in this big a bag. I can't get that.
Okay, I'll try.
And then you put that on
Okay, maybe I will try.
the Oreos.
Do you need a knife?
Yep, or scissors. Scissors might work better.
Well, we can add that in. I don't know that. I don't
That
know
looks
if that.
This looks awful. This looks like I mean literally.
I don't know if it's right. I don't.
It's chunky. It
Yeah,
looks like there's like actual bugs in it.
It's
like I don't know if our
you can
camera
see that,
our
like,
people
right?
can see what's in there, but it's
like I don't think that was the way it was supposed
very
to be.
chunky.
But she said instant coffee. I mean, instant coffee only comes in one grind, so I don't know why. Yeah, that doesn't look great, but whatever.
Okay.
All right, so
So we're
put that
opening up-
on the Oreos. So you get that from the commissary.
trying to make it look appetizing, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, oh my God.
is it supposed to like dissolve here, or is it just chunky?
Oh, and then you're supposed to put a little peanut butter in there.
Okay, maybe that's better.
I'm gonna here. I haven't even look. It's got all the chunks on there.
Oh my gosh, this is kind of like getting all
Here, peanut butter. Actually, that peanut butter is particularly good. That would not be commissary peanut butter, which I think no, that goes Oreo.
I'm thinking it goes in the drink and make it better. Okay, hold on.
Right. Oh my God.
Okay, now it's looking like a pudding type stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to look
it
like
should
that,
go
but
in
that's
here,
all
but-
right. I think that's why that they separate the cream.
To put that on top.
Yeah, actually, it doesn't look that bad. Okay.
I'm still putting a little bit.
All right. All right, I'm gonna lick the fork. Whoa. All right.
I'm scared to show my teeth on camera. It's like,
All right, let's try the Nutriloaf.
Okay. And you said you're not going to tell me what's in here yet.
No, you don't want to know.
Okay. Okay, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, that's pretty awful.
Oh my God. It tastes like, well, but it's like, is there like what is that? Well, I don't know what any of these things are in here.
What do you think it is?
Well, you got like a noodle in here, and then you've got some green stuff.
There's no noodles in there.
What the hell is that then?
Remember, it's coming from the kitchen.
Oh, so it's a carrot.
That's a carrot. It's supposed to be like raw shredded carrots. So it's
What is this thing right here?
a white bean.
Oh my God, it's horrible. It's like all the worst things in the world together in one.
Yeah, I couldn't eat that 3 times a day. I mean, I could
couldn't
if
eat
I
that
had
once a
to.
year. Are you kidding me?
Oh God.
Awful.
So that so it's okay. So it's white beans, a can of spinach drained. I think that makes it kind of worse. Let's see, carrots.
I need to brush my teeth now.
Right.
Okay.
It's got 6 pieces of whole wheat bread chopped up.
Whole wheat? What's that?
I mean, it could be any. I mean, you could have used a can of tomato paste, which I thought was kind of weird. I wouldn't have put that in.
No.
Some vegetable oil, I guess, just to kind of keep potato flakes, dry milk.
Sounds awful.
The only thing that's good in here is the dessert. And
Oh,
that's,
you already tried the dessert.
Yeah.
All right, I'm afraid of.
It's not bad.
Yeah, so and then you bake it for like 325 for like 45 minutes. I think it needs to be baked
I wonder what your
more.
kitchen smells like at that point.
I don't know, I was running around so much. All right, so the cake's okay?
Yeah, the cake's good. This stuff's pretty good.
Yeah, that's actually
It's got the
pretty
peanut
good.
butter and the.
Yeah, because it came from the commissary.
Like, that's good.
Yeah, of course,
This-
the cornbread, you know.
I
Yeah,
can't
this
even-
is just awful.
I can't do that.
No, I didn't think we were
No.
going to be able to. What about this whip? That doesn't look very whipped.
It's whip. Okay. Well, I'm trying to mix up a little bit more.
I don't even know if I could.
Is it starting to
make it.
kind of dissolve a little bit? The chunks. All right. Ready?
Bottoms up.
Okay.
That's pretty awful.
Oh my God. Get it off of me. Hurry. That is nasty. That is disgusting.
And that's a commissary creation.
Wow, what a creation.
Yeah, so that's a typical meal.
Okay, well, this right here would make me not want to commit crime. This alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine getting that Nutriloaf 3 times a day?
No. No. Gross.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the cake is okay. I mean, it's not really cake, obviously.
But it's like almost like a pudding mixture. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's got the chocolate and the peanut butter, and then the M's. It's not bad.
Yeah, but
But everything else is awful.
well, the other stuff. Well, this is coming from commissary stuff. You know, the cornbread. Of course, cornbread. We don't need it. We didn't even sample that, but cornbread's
Yeah.
cornbread. Just showing an example.
Yeah.
But I can see why that's outlawed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people have brought federal or lawsuits against the state, so some of them have won or
suing you.
settled.
Winter, I'm
Enough
suing
of
you for
that.
this.
Okay, so
I have seen too where they'll be at one big table, maybe like 4 or 5 people, and they'll have their napkin out and they'll crush up the ramen noodles and they'll put the noodles on top and they're all watching TV. And I don't know what they're putting on top, but I have seen them like crush up Cheetos and they'll like put it on top of the dry noodles. So I don't know what kind of like concoction they're making, but they're all splitting it up, trying to have their own little party
yeah,
with ramen. I saw that the other day.
yeah, I've seen it where also like they take those hot chips or whatever, and then they make like a roll out of it or something.
Cool.
Yeah. I knew so I had this guy when I was working in prison years ago, and he was big. He was like over 400. And we're going to go into chronic here on one of the next podcasts, but I kept saying, you keep gaining weight. He's like, well, I'm not eating anything. I'm like, how can you not? It was kind of like Dr. Now, like the scale doesn't lie. You're going up in weight. He's like, I really don't eat anything. And so I found out later, he's like, I don't eat the Nutriloaf or whatever it was. And I'm like, uh-huh. So, I mean, his BMI was like really high. It was well over 40. He was like morbidly obese. Mm-hmm. And then he'd complain about me that I wasn't doing anything for him. Anyway, I digress. So his cellmate comes in. Now, HIPAA, I'm not discussing the guy or whatever. He's like, but he says, you know who my roommate is? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, it's Joe Smith or whatever his name was. And he said, you know what he does at night? I said, I'm afraid to ask. He said he lays on his bunk and the other guy's like 2 feet away. And he says he takes an entire, like 3 of these, like huge, huge things of cookies. And he opens them up and he puts them in a ginormous bowl. And then he just lays down, and at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, he says, it sounds like a rat eating. He says, all I hear is gnawing all night. And it's the guy eating this huge bowl of cookies all night long. Oh my God. You know how many calories that is?
Oh my God. I mean, you can look at the back and see.
I know, right?
For
160 for 3 cookies.
And there's a lot of cookies in those containers.
Cookies, I know,
He's like,
right?
I'm not eating anything. I don't know why I'm gaining weight.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not eating anything. He probably said in the kitchen. So anyway, his cellie, as he's known, ratted out on him. So that's why he was gaining weight.
Oh
so
my gosh.
One of the things that we ask or can figure out is, what are they ordering?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Are they ordering stuff from the commissary? Because then their blood sugars are, and we're going to go into that too in another podcast, is are their blood sugars like off the scale?
And their blood pressures too. With like the salted packets from the ramen noodles.
Oh yeah, because the ramen noodles, I can't remember, but I think they're about 1,000 milligrams of sodium.
Tons of sodium in there.
Yeah. So what I'll say is use half the pack.
If you're going to use it, use half. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but I think it goes in one ear and out the other. I tell them.
You try, but they typically won't listen to you.
Yeah.
They have to want it.
Yeah, but they can get anything unhealthy, any kid, food, whatever they want from commissary.
Yes.
As long as you have enough money.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. You can do anything with enough money. Or they'll say, I don't have any commissary, I don't have any money on my books. Have you heard that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which means
they have no money.
But
then they try to call their family, and I've heard those conversations about requesting them to put money on their books. And at first they're really sweet, and they're like, "Hey, Granny, can you put some money on my books?"
Oh, like
and then
what
Granny's
Theo
like,
Quinn
"Absolutely
did?
not." Yeah, and then like, "Go to hell, Granny."
Yeah, right.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, there was one guy in another state. He had, I think he was like a big gang member or something, and they talked about it like. He had something like $500,000 on his commissary.
Oh my! He must have came in with it, maybe, or something.
I don't know. Yeah.
Holy crap.
I mean, it's not necessarily $20, but anytime you do anything in corrections or in jail or prison, it pretty much costs money. I think to make a phone call, unless it's booking, trying to get you out of jail.
Right.
Commissary is pretty expensive. I don't know.
We got sick call.
Yeah, sick call.
Depending on where you're at. I mean. Some jails are a couple bucks, some are 10 or more. Yeah. Per sick call to get medication and treatment for whatever they got going on.
Yeah, but usually the Oreos take precedence over everything.
Yeah, and
right?
the honey buns.
And the honey buns.
Those are it's a hot commodity.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're you ask them and they're like, yeah, I eat a couple of honey buns. I'm like, do you know how much sugar is in that? So they're not always forthright.
Right.
With stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So commissary, our point is that commissary is a big commodity and part of jails and prisons. Mm-hmm. because it kind of breaks up the day. It's nothing else that they have going on. Can't do any drugs.
Right. So they get creative with the food and they pass the time, and that's how they do it.
Well, they're creative for sure. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if the Nutriloof thing is a good idea. I don't know if I've ever seen it in the places I've worked.
I have not, personally.
Yeah, probably. It's probably a good thing for it to go by the wayside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Southern recipe, that one. That one's got the beans. The half-baked research that I did said the beans are more Southern. And then they might use other things. I can't imagine what. Probably bologna.
Yeah.
Bright red bologna or something.
No boar's head, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think so. No. So it is nutritionally complete, though. I would probably tell you that. It's got vegetables in it. It's got quite a bit of vegetables in it.
Yeah.
And it's actually supposed to be almost 1,000 calories per serving.
I'm glad I need it.
I know.
I don't need that.
I don't either. I don't even know. Maybe I'll give it to the dogs tonight. I don't know if they'll eat it.
They might just walk away.
I know. I'm gonna try. So I could see that. That's probably a valid lawsuit, maybe, depending on who's making it in the kitchen. Yeah. So anyway, so that's our little tiny piece of correctional food and commissary snacks.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That was gross.
Right. So we're going on to the next podcast. All right. So I am Dr. Minter.
And I'm Nurse Brian.
And we will see you next time on Off the Cuff Nurses.